Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World, and both this week and next week I know for sure I'm going to be doing cooking. Today I know for sure because I've already done it, and next Tuesday is my birthday and I'm going to make you a birthday cake. Well, I'm going to make me a birthday cake. You could look. I was in the supermarket last week sometime and happened to see in the frozen food case some crayfish. And I thought that was really extraordinary because I've never seen crayfish anywhere in Southeast Asia or East Asia. So I snagged them, even though they're a little bit expensive. And today what I want to do is show you the different things that I did with them, or at least three of the things that I did with them. And we'll start here with just cooking. And this is really simple and replicates the way that you cook crayfish in Louisiana, particularly in the Cajun country. You put them in water with spices and boil them. The pack that I bought actually had spices with the crayfish, and there were sort of garlic, ginger, lemongrass, typical Southeast Asian spices. And so I put the pot on to boil, and you need to boil them for about 10 minutes, not much longer. They turn red, and then you fish them out, and then you're ready to process them. So let's talk about my three different recipes. Now here's the cooked crayfish, and you take one, and most of the meat is in the tail, in this part here, right here. So you break off the tail, and you'll see that it exposes the meat right here. What you have to do is break open the tail, and when you break it open like this, it exposes the meat, which you can just pull straight out, okay? And then you can use that for various dishes. And I'm going to now take most of the tails out here. I'll maybe eat some of them just as is. They can also be dipped in drawn butter. But one of the things that you notice, if you look at this one, for example, see that the spices that I boiled the crayfish in are still sticking to it, and they're also on my hands. So if you just pop one straight in your mouth, then you've got the flavor of the tail and the spices that they're cooked in. That's standard Louisiana way of eating crayfish. And also, if you know anything about Maryland, you know that's how they eat crabs in that part of the world. All right, so let's get on to some actual recipes. I'm going to try some fritters, and I'll show you some pasta and also a soup. Now here you can see that I've made a dough. It's almost a thick batter, but it's a dough of self-raising flour and egg. It's just a small amount of flour and one egg. I'm going to add the crayfish, and then I'm going to break off a few pieces of the dough and crayfish and fry them in oil. Okay, I'm just going to do one to show the process. The oil's nice and hot. And we're just going to, well, it could be deep fried. This is just a sort of shallow frying. I'm just going to cook until golden brown. Look at that, beautiful already. And I'm using self-raising flour. You can use plain flour with baking soda, just to give it a slightly more fluffy texture. And we're just about ready. Just need to make sure that the fritter is cooked all the way through. And I'll do a few more and then I'll plate up and I'll show you. So this is just a little sampler platter. I've just made 3, and I've got some sweet chili sauce that's common in Southeast Asia, and I'm just going to dip them in and have a little appetizer. I'm going to make a main dish of pasta with a crayfish sauce, and I'm also going to make a soup, so you could have 3 courses. That is, you could have your appetizer here, a little bisque or something like that. You can do with crayfish anything you can do with lobster. So appetizer, bisque, and pasta with crayfish. So here's my next step. I've got some stock which I've actually put some seasonings into, Cambodian seasonings as it happens. Kind of like tom yum in a way, I guess, mainly ginger, galangal, and whatnot. Into the stock I've added some vegetables, peppers, leeks and mushrooms, and then some rice. So this is going to be a kind of a soupy jambalaya, and at the last minute I'm going to add the crayfish. Alright, so here's the finished soup, and I've just put the crayfish on top for aesthetics, nothing else. There are actual crayfish tails in the soup itself, but I thought that this would look a little bit more enticing, picturesque, whatever you want to call it. So this is the soup, and now I will get on with the pasta dish. I'm going to make a cold pasta dish, but it could be hot as well. It's one or the other, it really doesn't matter. So here we are with the pasta dish, and this side of the equation is all pretty straightforward. I've got some fusilli in broth, which is flavored with various fish condiments, and I've added some leeks and some peppers as well. I'm going to cook the pasta, and then I'm going to cool it and just add the crayfish. So nothing very complicated. It's kind of like pasta primavera, except with the addition of crayfish. So let me get this all simmering, and then I'll come back. And here we have the finished product as the fusilli is cooked and combined with the leeks and the peppers, and you can also see some of the crayfish tails there. And I've topped it with a little bit of Japanese spice, with a little bit of hot pepper and black sesame, and ready to eat. Now, if you like these videos, remember, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back on Friday with some more musings about Easter, and have a good week.